This isn't the stuntman conference.
Not.
Well, let's
welcome our guests here. They were here for the very first Crypticon as well, back in 2006, and now they're joining us for number 19.
Yeah!
Woo! There's so many goddamn microphones.
All right. A lot of familiar faces here.
No kidding. Yeah, we see y'all. Hi guys. How we doing here?
Well, I don't know, but the child there has a Packers jersey. I'm just wondering if that are they allowed in? I should talk. I'm a Bears fan, so you guys already punished us.
We'll never win.
And the Lions are kicking our ass. It's a Packer fan, yeah.
Okay.
No, they're both.
Anybody got any questions? Anybody? I know people got questions. Let's, yeah. Is that what we're doing here?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. By the way, it's the 20th anniversary of the Devil's Rejects.
Yeah! Woo!
That's why we're here?
Yeah, apparently that's
Sid is here with us.
Yes.
Yes, he is. Yeah.
I love this movie. I think I told every one of you guys this in person yesterday. I love the movie. It's one of my all-time favorites. I love the kind of like how gritty that movie feels, and I'm just curious to know how do you accomplish that in terms of the technical piece of making that movie. So, for instance, your scene right in the hotel room and how just raw that feels, right, and the scene when you guys are outside and the way the light is hitting you and just the kind of cinematography of it all, the whole thing just feels, it's got a patina that's just really, really unique. So I'm curious to know kind of what does that look like for you in terms of blocking or how you act that in a movie that wants to have that kind of a vibe.
Rob's an artist, and he painted the sets. You know, he designed the sets. He was part of that. Lighting, everything. It's all Rob when he wanted to create these characters and tell the story. So it was easy for us to step in as actors and just do the do. But it was all Rob. All Rob. It was all Rob. His inspiration, his creativity, his talent as an artist to really bring this vision to the audience. It was great. It was great. You can't. I mean, the cinematography stuff on.
Yes, I was going to say. That was Phil Parmet.
Yeah.
Was our DP.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
was.
Yeah.
He had done like Macon County lines, so he was more of like almost a documentary filmmaker. So there was a certain raw edge to it, and the lighting was very.
I love the stuff with Forsythe and with Leslie, separately and equal, and then together as well. But with Forsythe, I mean, the shots he got with Forsythe was outrageous.
Sheriff White.
It was almost like as you say, documentary.
Yeah, Phil Parmet. Yeah.
But that's my idea.
You know, I really like the, you mentioned the graininess, the texture is very raw, which is, the way I saw it is that the movie is visceral, you know, it's sort of invades your space, and you are part of all the action, everything that's happening to any character, and you kind of feel it. It has a reactive effect. Unless you're buying chickens.
It was almost like changing pages in a comic. You get that feeling going from surreal to real in terms of changing that page, and all of a sudden exploded. There you go.
Michael, were those eating chickens or fucking chickens?
Pardon me?
Eating chickens or fucking chickens?
Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
That was a neither.
I knew it was you.
That was a neither because it would have been a stunt adjustment.
You were ready to give me a adjustment.
How much of that was improvised?
We got from improvised.
Well, it was
What was in the script?
The hillbilly comedian, he was actually a stand-up comedian, that was his day job. And I remember mumbling to Ken that, this guy's stepping on the lawn, he's taking over the whole scene. I remember looking out the corner of my eye, I could see Rob at the monitor, and Rob does this. Just go with it. And the guy, he went part way, and then he started doing the and all that. I got pissed off, to be quite honest. If you're going to do something like that, you don't spring it on the actors. You do the way it's written in the script first. It's called being a professional. And then if you're going to do a second take and you're going to ad-lib, you tell your director you're going to go off script. So we're just standing on like a bunch of fools, and he left me no option except to be pissed off. So,
Yeah. That was funny. I had a relationship with Rob, and I asked him, I said, if I feel something, I want to add something, is it okay? And they said, well, go ahead and give it a try. We'll cut it. So, the whole thing about my brother frying chickens was that there. Some of the other stuff in there, just a little bit of this and that was that there as well. This is how I felt. And I was the same thing when I did Joe Grizzly in Halloween. Same thing. He had some lines. I wasn't wild about it, quite frankly. I think one of them was that I was of course, what we have here is a page to communicate with Struthers, Martin's line include that loop. Only said by Struthers, Martin before. I said that's one reason I took the job. So I get to say that line again. But the other one with the Taco Bell, Supreme, I did all the catching on the arches. I didn't feel that. And I tried, and because I'm going to do, Rob wrote it. His lines are, repeated and said in front of the camera as he wrote them. So I certainly said them and tried to do my best with them. But in between, there were things that were happening like nasty girls, and Susie, and then I'm Joe Grizzly, bitch. All that was improvised. And he told me once, he said, Ken, just say what you're going to say. I never know what you're going to say. Say it. It usually works anyway, so just say it. Don't let me stop. And I did. Post. Yeah. We'll give you a few times. So it was a different kind of, because it's like with each person that you meet, you have to approach certain subjects differently. I'm sure that Michael had a different approach with Rob as I had in terms of how we were going to approach the scene or dialogue and that kind of thing. And what he felt comfortable with doing and what was a signal to you, he keep moving. He knew what to say to him. To me, he said, he just sat there and said,
Go ahead. That was very funny because we were about a week into shooting Devil's Rejects, and Rob came up to me at the lunch table and said, "Can I see you in my office after lunch?" And of course, I'm thinking, okay, I'm getting fired. Because he was, he wasn't grim, but he wasn't, smiling, and so I kind of walked slowly. I took a long dessert and walked slowly to his trailer and went in, and he looked at me and he said, "No, you're doing a great job." And I was like, oh thanks. You can never. Sometimes you can't read Rob. Actually, you just, you're kind of getting it done, and I didn't know if I was, I was on thin ice or thick ice, but
No, I thought it was very difficult to read
Yeah.
unless he gave you a clear smile in the Joe Grizzly thing.
Yeah.
He went, what happened? I'm Joe Grizzly. Who told him to say that? That's great. Okay, that worked. But I'm saying that, sometimes, you talk to him and you don't know what you're going to face. He
That's
might
right.
be angry, maybe he may want to give you a gem as he gave you. He may give a nod to this man as he gave him. Sometimes it's...
Or you may be in the cornfield.
Or you may never see light again.
That's right.
Yeah. But he's a great guy. I loved him.
Yeah.
We all loved him.
We do. Although he just sold his house in LA, now he's permanently, he and Sherry have permanently moved to northern Connecticut, so, yeah.
Nice. Are they near where Paul Newman and Jordan Woodward are?
Yeah, a little north of there.
Yeah,
They're in Kent.
Yeah.
And, people think that Rob Zombie probably worships the devil and is sacrificing people. But in fact, for a while there, I think they've moved on from that, but they, at their
Moved
farm,
on from worshiping the
from
devil.
that got him.
I hope so.
That got him. That doesn't keep you there. It just gets you there. But they actually were doing a goat rescue on their farm. And apparently they don't do that anymore. The goats have found a happier home, or another happy home, I should say. But the goat rescue, it's like, it's certainly not something you would think about when you think about Rob Zombie. Sacrificing goats, but not rescuing goats.
Yeah, you take a lot of heat for the Rob Zombie film.
Yeah.
For some reason, there's a lot of that stuff going on.
Well, it's interesting how people misinterpret what we do. I remember doing a lecture, and this woman posed a question. She thought that if you did a horror movie or a slasher movie and there was a copycat murder based upon your character, that you, the character, the actor, should be prosecuted in court for your performance. And
Well, no nickname would see that out.
I agree with that.
that's a slippery slope in a country where we have.
Especially if there's a lot of blood.
Yeah, if we have. I don't fall into that category of believing that should be prosecuted.
None of us do. It's crazy.
There are crazy people out there,
Yes.
and the reason is spot.
Not so.
He's pointing at all.
No. People hide their crazy stuff to you. Get to know them. And late at night they open up and he gets lying.
Don't incite the crowd.
So,
Anybody else have a question?
so well before Devil's Rejects, all three of you were horror icons that, we all absolutely loved even before Devil's Rejects. So my question is, when Devil's Rejects, really itself became an iconic horror film, and even went further than House of a Thousand Corpses because it got, some critical acclaim and whatnot, what did that mean to you guys, each one of you, to be in a project that became so iconic and was so embraced by the fans? I mean, it won all the horror awards that year. I mean, we all loved it. Everybody watched it over and over, and I just wonder what that meant to you guys as the guys who brought that to life for us.
It kind of snuck. It snuck up on me. There were so many people after we made Devil's Rejects and we were making it. We were going around to places and signing and talking to people. People were telling us how much they loved the film. But it was kind of okay. I had a mixture of other films that were, popular as well. So I was still seeing that as well. But I saw this uptick of Devil's Rejects people who loved it, and I just saw so many people that were. It's a strange situation. There are certain things that I've said on film, like the one, the line in Dawn of the Dead, And there's certain words in Halloween. Oh, there's one word in Halloween, and there's a few words in Devil's Rejects that people ask, say it again. They didn't say it again. Chicken fucker, say it again. Right there, was right chicken fucker. And it just, and I kind of judge it by how many people ask me to say, all right, the line from the all-time classic Dawn of the Dead. But Joe Grizzly, when I'm Joe Grizzly Bitch, is now becoming as iconic. And I hate that word, iconic. There's too many. There's nothing iconic doesn't mean anything anymore. Everybody's fucking iconic. We're not. We're not. We're not. This is too. But it's become a
Speak for yourself, Ken.
And I'm not iconic, all right?
I personally disagree, but
Yeah, I kind of disagree with that too, but anyway. While I'm denying iconic.
No, there's no going back once you have been established, and then you get a chance to be in a classic, which Rejects is. Rob is an aficionado of all of the old. Go back in history for our genre, and Rob can answer questions like Joe Clark could over many, many decades. So that tells it, let me know right away. But number one, he's a fan. He's a student of that type of storytelling. And also, when I saw the film, I was very impressed. I'm a big fan of cinematography. I'm a lensy guy. And when I started to see the post-production and all of the artwork done and the atmosphere, the texture, the color dynamics, when you have that scene with the sheriff in the car and he's hurting your finger, he really was on the door. I mean,
Yes, he really was.
he really was hurting. I was rooting for him. But
That's very words.
I'll just say it was probably the most inclusive realism, and it really drew the audience into the. You felt affected, and at the very, very end, I was crying for these guys.
It's your fault.
Sort.
It's your fault. You guys come up to us in every city that we're in, begging for rejects. I love rejects. You go to something else we've had, you go to, but you still, most of you want the hardcore guys want rejects, and it's in every place we go. And I guess if you would combine all the places we appear in the year, it'd probably be a couple hundred. And every place we go, there are hundreds of rejects fans that want those pictures. And hundreds of Rob Zombie's fans as well. We didn't like that picture, but we liked your scene.
So I feel that we moved to the middle of Michigan. We live in the forest, and we have a lot of small farms. My neighbor, he hunts. I used to be a butcher, so I help him dress out the venison. We have a garden. We share vegetables with our neighbors. And there's also other little farms that have chickens. I have to admit, whenever I see a Rhode Island Red, I just go, thank you, Rob.
Did that guy call you the chicken guy, the guy that was in the scene with us? Did he ever call you, get in touch with you?
No.
Oh.
That was your question.
Thank you, Ken.
Rob gives him my fucking number. Rob gives him my number. And says, you want to know about conventions? Call Ken. Not Moseley, not Berryman, not 50, not Sid. Guys that probably do have more conventions than I've ever heard of. Me. He calls me, hey, Rob said that. So I gave him what pointers I could. I'd tell you something.
Is that why we've never seen him?
But no, I think he went
going straight.
He went, see, it's one thing to do
On the
a
main
great
road.
scene. It's another thing to do, the only thing you've got is that great scene. You understand? And I don't think he was able to see the kind of reward that he thought he might get from it. I'll tell you something. When we shot the scene, Michael, and he was so good, this guy. He really good. He turned, yeah, I had to bite my lips not to laugh, but he was good. So I turned to talk to you and Rob, because he's about what this man is. I turned to talk to you and Rob, and we talked for a few seconds. I turned back just to say, nice working with you, did a fantastic job, and I didn't see him again. He was gone. Disappeared that fast. So, interesting character. Everybody loves that scene. Everybody loves that scene too much. Sometimes I'm not looking for anybody to come up and tell me about the chicken fucking.
It was not an instructional video.
I don't want to hear about chicken fucking. It's not the best thing. I understand it's funny, I think it's great, I get all that. But sometimes you're sitting somewhere and all of a sudden, tell me about the chicken fucking. Oh, chicken fucking, no? Last thing on my mind is about fucking the chicken. Or hearing somebody talk about that. But I understand, I get it, and I'm good with it.
Go ahead.
So how much about the scene where it's you and E.G. and you guys are all sitting in the whorehouse, and she does the whole line about you're like they're droids. Was that all
That was complete ad lib.
ad lib?
Yeah.
It just worked.
Oh, it's so good.
Really, I go, Rob, what's my problem? A vacuum cleaner. Really? I'm tidying up in the house of hell? Okay. I just thought it was the juxtaposition between what was going on in that zip code and, but
You gotta have somebody that's good at it. You gotta have somebody that's very good as an actor of knowing when to just let the scene grow and build and let that moment happen and fulfill that moment with something very interesting, which he did, which he was great at. So whatever I said and it flew out there, if he saw an opening or something that happened, there was a space there to do something and he felt it immediately brilliant.
So Mike, what'd you think of Princess Leia?
Princess Leia, I love her.
She's out of this world.
Right now. E.G. Daily is one of my, we've gone out to dinner many times and a few events together, and she's a wonderful, wonderful person. I love her.
That's a funny thing with generation. Like she's like Pee-wee.
You talking about me and her?
No. Like she was in Pee-wee Herman and stuff like that. But then I realized she was in that scene. And then you hear Tommy Pickles' voice out of her. And you watch it.
I took her to the Saturn Awards in L.A. one year, and we took pictures on the red carpet. And then I got the pictures later. Oh no! Here I am, a big badass. Big man, I'm just, I gained so much weight, and I gained so much weight, it's so big. And there's Luigi, she's so tiny, so petite, and she's right there until she's a toy. Jesus Christ. I gotta do something about it. Anyway, anybody got some questions?
Oh yeah, one more.
So I have a question for all you guys.
Yes.
So when you guys first started filming Devil's Rejects and the last thing of filming, what is one thing you always take with you or cherish that you'll never forget?
Free food.
Yeah, craft service is very, very important.
Woo! Craft service is
Really
a monster.
Well, I would say it solidified with me when we worked on, when Sid and I were working on Lords of Salem, because we had a situation where we're supposed to, the guys from England are supposed to read the arrest warrant, and you got to understand that we were working at night, it's cold, and they'd already done the long shots on the hillside with the witches, and those actresses were freezing cold. And we need that footage to be relevant to when Sid Haig and I, who are the Mangus brothers, the butchers, why are we going to chop up the witches? Why are they being damaged? Well, there was an arrest warrant. That whole scene got thrown out because here's what happened. I was standing next to Sid Haig, and I forget what the actor was. This is a person who was No, listen, that's someone who done Shakespeare. He's in one
Oh,
Oscar.
they got that fired? They fired?
Yeah, and here's what he said.
What's his name?
He
I
says,
know you're talking about.
Rob, can you make the torches a little brighter, please? I don't have enough lumens to read the arrest warrant. And then Rob goes, okay, we all go back to our trailer. Pretty soon there's a knock on the door. Rob comes in, he goes, oh man, I'm so sorry. I didn't know if they couldn't memorize their lines. I would have given them, I would have fed them the lines to a little microphone, blah, blah, blah. And I said, no, Rob, if they had trouble, no, he said, I would have.
Andrew Pine.
Yes. He said,
Andrew Pine.
He said, I would have made them period piece prescription glasses so they could read in that low light. And I said, no, what their responsibility, is as a professional actor is to know your lines. And if you can't memorize your lines, you know what you do? You let the production company know, and they can make an accommodation. Because if you're the investor, every minute costs you money. And you're not going to work with that company again if you're burning up their money. So we lost 3 pages of dialogue that explained why the witches were even being harmed in the first place. So there was a big gap. But what I'm trying to express is the professionalism of Rob and how he accommodated wow, because they pulled that on him, and they should have known better. But you know what? He completed the film, and I'm sure his executive producers were going, we don't have any money for a reshoot, we're just going to have to go with what you got. And his demeanor, Rob Zombie's demeanor, is professional, and I'm very grateful that he's going on to do 100% his creations. But in the process, in this business, it is a business. And if you're going to do stupid stuff, you might want to not do that. You can show up prepared, but communication is key.
In that film, there were tons
Of miscommunication.
tons of issues like that Rob had to come in and put not only a Band-Aid, but suture and wrap and everything else. And that was a test of a director's ability to stand and solve problems.
He has to salvage an investment and move on.
Yeah, absolutely. But the things were just, things would fall every night. Oh, something here, something there, something there. I had problems. There was a whole bunch of stuff that was going on when I first started the shoot. So I had birds in my fucking suit.
Birds in your suit? Birds in your suit?
But the question was, the first day to the last day,
Of
right?
filming, what was one thing you always
Here's I can't say that, but what I can say, and I think this probably gives you a tone to what working with Rob on that set and everything Jess does. Every man, woman, child worked on that set in whatever capacity, from the Lionsgate people all the way down to the crew, the actors, some people, everybody said they like to take a month off and then come back and start again shooting again. Wow. They loved it that much. We all loved it that much. We really wanted to. I don't know how Bill felt after Dallas Page kicked his ass. Did you want to hear about that?
Yeah.
Let's hear about Dallas kicking Bill's butt.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yes. Okay, I'll tell you that very quickly, actually.
I just want to ask Bill a quick question. Can we stop for ice cream?
That was it. That's what turned people hating us to loving us.
That was it.
It's pretty
And that was discovered in an office building at what was that, in Century
That was
City?
the Larry Flint
Century City, and we were sitting there, and having gone through half a day of rehearsal, or half, and then we got to that point, and said, what do we say? I think how was laying on the couch, some people were sitting on the couch, some people were laying on the floor, we were just exhausted from it. And who said it? Was it you?
No, that's
Say it, Kimberly. Yes, sir. Tutti fucking fruity. And boy, we said, and I think Bill said, Tutti fucking fruity. And then, yes, exactly how it Bill said, Tutti fucking fruity. Like, what the hell are you talking about? And then Sherry said, Tutti fucking fruity. And that's how I was born, all right?
Yeah.
We're not like a house of 1,000 corpses. We already were the knock knock, tiny.
Well, that was a funny day because there was no budget for that apparently.
Oh,
There
really?
was a budget for sandwiches and for the space and for the camera department, but there was no budget for the actors. It was funny how that worked.
About food? You got no food you can
There
fed?
was no budget, so we just showed up, Sid and Sherry and I, and we were just goofing around. We just made all that stuff up, and there was I was starting to talk to Sherry about stump rope animal, and actually in the West, kids getting his first piece. Sometimes it's a farm animal, and what you do is you basically back the animal up, and if you're a kid, you have to stand on a stump, and if you back the animal up, and if it's stump broke, it's not it's not going to kick. So anyway, I was trying to explain that to Sherry. It's a weird thing to explain to anybody, including you guys.
Wait. Did I miss something somewhere?
And so it was
Are we
like,
talking about stump?
and so we said, and then Sid picked it up and started talking about Tiny and Stump broke and Tiny fucked the stump, and that was his first, love was a stump. Anyway, we started just riffing on it, so then we got into the knock-knock jokes about Tiny fucking stump. That is the origin of it. I see some kids here, I don't know. Oh, and
When I came in,
they're
they
taking
stopped.
videos, and they're going to put it on YouTube now.
I would like to do a shout out to our lost brother, Sid, but also Matthew.
Yeah.
Here, here.
There is a film, you can get it all day long, $10 from Amazon. It's called The Evil Within. It's the only film produced by Andrew Getty. I lived at his home in his castle actually for a year. And we had Sean Patrick Flannery, Dina Myers, Fred Kohler. It's based on a nightmare that Andrew had. All practical effects. He spent his entire fortune on it. It's a work of art based on a nightmare. Now, he had Matthew Foree in for a meeting. And he told Matthew, he said, look, you can get all kinds of roles where you're never really a human being. You're a creature, a gargoyle, or however they want to categorize you. He says, I'm going to give you a role where you can bring out your humanity. Now there is a scene where Sean Patrick Flannery, bad things are happening in the house, and he wants to go see his therapist. So he goes to a restaurant outdoors, and he sees a gentleman from his back, and it has the same jacket that his therapist wore. He accidentally bumps into this person's back, and the camera moves around to the front. You see that it's Matthew, and he spills his drink. Matthew stands up, and he's very tall, and he grabs both of Sean Patrick's hands in one of his, and he goes, I just love it when I'm trying to have a peaceful lunch, and some SOB like you comes and ruins my day. And I know what you're thinking. What's wrong with you? Why do you look like this? You know what? There is nothing wrong with me. And the dialogue goes on. Andrew Getty let Matthew write that dialogue. That never happens. And you know what? It brought some dignity and humanity for Matthew to really appreciate it. And God bless him.
Was that ever released?
Yes. And Matthew,
And that scene was there?
it's in the film, and Matthew passed away 4 months ago.
Okay.
So if you ever get a chance, Evil Within, check it out, and when you see that scene with Matthew,
Well, good for Matthew.
you can appreciate the fact that Andrew saw the humanity in him and didn't typecast him as a creature feature.
And Matthew had, I think it was size 26 shoes.
Sure.
And honestly, and Doc Martin was so impressed with the size of his foot, which apparently was like the biggest foot in the world, maybe. That they made him a custom pair of Doc Martin boots. Yeah. Which, yeah, was
Well, I don't want to cut off all the wonderful stories, but we're getting these gentlemen over to the photo ops.
Yep.
I'm sure there's going to be.
We're just starting.
Photo op.
I got
We'll continue.
raising their hands all over the place. See?
Yeah, Ken had a whole, this whole, he was going to do a scene, right? From Midsummer Night's Dream, I think.
All right, let's do photo op.
They never leave me alone.
Thank you.
care what you say, you'll all be icons to me forever.
You're an icon to him.
Forever. I don't care what you say. We can agree to disagree.
I'm gonna let you know that. That's a good one.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. This was such a thrill.
I'll be back here. I'll be back to my table. Yeah. All right.